When you think of running a business, you probably think of high risk, high reward. You probably perceive that most businesses fail at some point, and the ones that do succeed are the lucky ones. But what if there was a pretty simple formula to a profitable business? Now, I don't claim to have that myself, but as an accountant, I've seen the insides and outs of many different businesses, as well as running my own business for myself in the past. So, this video is just going to dive into some of the keys to a profitable business and the mistakes that I see a lot of businesses make. So, when we look at the facts, the startup failure rates, you can see that around 10% fail within the first year and about 20% fail within the first 2 years. So, quite a high proportion. And these numbers just compound when it gets to 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. We look at it here 15 years, 75% of businesses fail. Now, I'll leave a link to the source of this in the comments description below. But you can see the stats aren't looking great for new businesses. But really, why actually is this? So, the same research showed that the number one reason was poor product market fit by a long shot. It's about 35 ish percent here, as well as wrong marketing strategies and team issues, right? But overwhelmingly, we can see it's poor product market fit. Now, what does that actually mean? What does poor product market fit mean? So, I really see this down to three pillars. And in this video, I'm just going to dive into those three pillars of what I really think the big issue is with most businesses. Firstly, we have the unclear ICP. So, if you don't know what an ICP is, it's effectively your ideal customer persona. So, who is it that you are targeting? Now, as the saying goes, target everyone and you target no one. You really need to define exactly who it is you help. How old are they? How much money do they make? What do they do in their free time? What painful problems keep them up at night? And what does their average day look like? You need to know these inside and out. So think demographic, think behavior patterns, desires, pain points. Really, the business owners that go into depth on exactly who they're targeting and know the insides and outs of that person's life tend to perform the best. And the most profitable companies know this very well. Because if you can really get inside the mind of your customer, then it's quite hard to fail because you know exactly what makes them tick. You know their pain points, you know the solutions they're looking for, you know how much money they're willing to spend. So if I just take this to the example of my own business story, date back to 2018, 2019 time, and I was running a business effectively helping martial arts schools attract more students into their academies. Effectively, all I was doing here was really pushing the pain point that martial arts school owners don't want to be faffing about with marketing. They really just want to hone in their craft and teach the craft that they love and the craft that they've spent their whole lives mastering. Whereas I was to come in and pitch myself as the person who could effectively take all of that off their hands and sort out the marketing for them so that they don't have to worry about it. And I got really good results for these business owners just by doing that and leveraging these case studies on social media to effectively attract clients into my business was a very powerful strategy. And I just knew that by really knowing my ICP and exactly who I was targeting, all the way down to the minor details of how they spend their days, put me in the best position to acquire these clients and really get these people on board with what I was doing. And I was booking up strategy calls or calls with me to learn more about my services. This was just a week that I took at random back when I was running this business in 2019. Now I don't run this anymore, but as you can see, it's pretty powerful. So crystal clear ICP, that is really the first step in this profitable business methodology. Just look at the second pillar. I believe it's the vague outcome. So a vague outcome, people don't purchase a product or service, they purchase an outcome. They purchase a desired result. So if we were to look at fitness equipment, people aren't just purchasing the equipment, they're purchasing better physical health. The reason you go to the gym, you're not paying them for what you are getting, the workout equipment. You're effectively paying them for the facility to get a six pack or live a bit longer because you're able to exercise. There's an outcome to it. Or recruitment services, for example, you're paying someone or working through an agent to find you a high paying job so you can make more money. So you can get the prestige of a new title. Or if you are a company hiring a recruitment agent, then you're effectively paying for a skilled candidate. You're not paying for the recruitment agent to go ahead and source the candidate for you, go through all those steps. You're paying for the end result, which is that skilled candidate and the skills they bring to your business. Or go back to the example I was doing a few years ago, which is digital marketing services. Effectively, people are paying for more business opportunities. So martial arts school owners would pay me for new students who would then contribute to their revenue and their bottom line, or just more exposure in general to their business. Effectively, your service or product is just a facilitator to that end outcome. And by really learning that and mastering that is going to take your business to the next level. So it's all about selling the outcome, not the product or service. Now, let's look at the bridging the gap methodology. Three parts to this. We want to look at, firstly, what does my ideal client look like now? So this is them on that first part of the bridge. What do they look like now? What do they do? What do they have? How do they speak? How do they conduct themselves? And what does their life look like in this present moment? What pains are they facing? Next, we look at, what does my ideal client want to look like? So the other side of the bridge, where do they want to be? What do they want to have? How do they want their life to look? And third, what's stopping them from getting there? So what have they tried and failed at? Why did they fail? What are their limiting beliefs? How long have they been trying? And what are their current pain points? All things preventing our ideal client from the point where they are now to the point where they want to get to. And what your product or service is going to do is it's going to bridge that gap between where they are now and where they want to get to. And the best way of looking at that is how we sell that gap. How do we sell that bridge between where the client is now and where are they looking to get to? So if we look at my martial arts marketing example, currently the martial arts school owner is trying to do all the marketing themselves, and they're obviously doing the service delivery too, which is the martial arts training, and they might be handling other things like the finances and the admin too. But they want to just get to a point where they can just turn up, teach the thing they love, and not have to worry about students turning up and stuff like that. So effectively, my offer there was bridging that gap between being stressed about the marketing to having it all figured out and not needing to worry about it. And that's what I was selling. Next up, it's the specific outcome. So crystal clear ICP plus a specific outcome. The third pillar is lack of quality traffic. Because there's a saying in business, build it and they will come. But really, I think it's nonsense. I think it's just a fallacy. The stadium in the middle of a desert, build it and they will come. It's just not going to happen, because if you don't have footfall, if people don't know about it, they're not going to turn up. And no matter how good the stadium or product is, people need to know about it. People need to know it exists in order to buy it. Quality traffic. The more ICP prospects you have viewing your offer, the better it's going to perform. You know, it sounds very simple. Just get more people to see your offer and more people are going to buy it. But really, it's true, because you can have a great product, but if you're only a handful of people are seeing it, realistically, are you going to make that many sales? Probably not. Compared to the person with a good product, but also great marketing and also a lot of people seeing that product, they're going to make a lot more sales. So the primary methods that most businesses are going to use are, one, being organic, which is pay with your time. So free social media and word of mouth, posting on social media, for example, Facebook, Instagram, really building up your following and amassing a tribe of people who are looking at what you do and perhaps might be interested at some point. Or there's also word of mouth, is effectively getting people who have already bought your product to refer friends because you are so good at what you do. And then we have paid. So pay with your money. Social media adverts, so putting in money for advertising campaigns online, search engine ads, leaflets, stuff like that. Stuff you can pump money into quite easily and get attention and get eyeballs on your offer. Now, the way I like to look at it is use organic to first validate your offer, validate the demand, and achieve proof of concept. So get paying customers for what you do. And then paid ads effectively add fuel to the fire once your offer has been proven. The best way of looking at paid ads is, if you don't have a massive marketing budget, which probably won't have it in the beginning, you need to validate your offer as soon as you can, because paid ads to a poor offer aren't really going to convert. But if you can use organic, whether that's warm outreach or cold outreach, to get a few paying customers, to get some results under your belt, then using paid ads is just going to add fuel to the fire and get more people to purchase what you're doing. And the medium really depends on who you target and where your ICP actually hangs out. If we look at targeting B2B or business to business, LinkedIn is probably your place to be. Targeting millennials, Facebook, Gen X or Gen Z, probably going to be Instagram. Now, social media and search engines are easy to track and measure when it comes to paid ads, which is why I built my whole first business primarily based around them, because it was easy to do, because it was quite clear how much you were paying for a click, how much you were paying for a purchase. But there are other forms, obviously, leaflets, word of mouth, direct marketing, stuff like that. But that's not really my skill set. So, quality traffic, if you can get that in your business, then it's really just going to ramp up what you're doing. And it's a necessity because, like I said, build it and they will come is a lie. So, that's it. Crystal clear ICP, specific outcome, and quality traffic, when combined together, produce a quality business. Now, obviously, this is only one part of a profitable business. You've got to deal with plenty of other bits, which as an accountant, I'm more familiar with. But get this right, and you can really prevent that first problem of product market fit, which apparently is the killer of most new businesses. So I hope that was helpful. I'll be dropping more videos like this in the future. So stick around for that and subscribe, and I'll see you then.